Hi, this is Tim Santoni, and welcome to Santoni Spotlight. Today, Isaiah Leslie joins us. Isaiah, thanks so much for joining the show. I appreciate it.
Happy to be on.
Great. Before we get started, maybe give the viewers a little bit of sense about you, your company, background, give us some context for the conversation.
Sure. So I own a legal services company called Regal Court Reporting. We've been in existence for almost 12 years now, and the reason I got started in the business was I married a court reporter, and I didn't have any plans or aspirations to get involved in the legal industry, but because of her guidance and our partnership, we started an agency out of our house, and now we've got a big group of employees, a bigger group of independent contractors, and one of the, in my opinion, one of the best premier court reporting agencies in Southern California.
Great. So as you get that business launched, maybe go through some of the challenges as you working out of the house, getting it full speed, and the sales, marketing, kind of logistical aspects of selling into the legal community.
Sure. So when we started, my wife we had 4 clients that we were able to bring on board that she had picked up while she worked at other court reporting agencies. And from those 4, we were able to grow it because in the court reporting world, you're usually at depositions, and at depositions, there's always an attorney that's on the other side of that table. And so that's an easy way to start marketing, right? Is how good your reporters are in the deposition. And then afterwards, I would follow up with them usually and take them out to lunch or coffee. Attorneys are usually very busy in the day, so you only get them at lunchtime or maybe at a happy hour after work. We had a website, of course, you got to have that, but essentially all of the face-to-face was done either at their law offices or at executive suites, which is how we were able to grow in our deposition side of the business because you got to meet somewhere.
Sure. So that direct contact, because your court reporters are in there, that gives you an opportunity to obviously make contact and do that stuff, which is great.
Yeah.
It's definitely difficult. I've found in our business difficult to get FaceTime with them because they default to the billable hour and meetings, and right, if they're not billing, they're either sleeping or eating or on vacation.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. And so when I started, my wife and I, we were both, she was in her 20s and I was 31 or 32. So getting in front of an attorney at that young age, there's oftentimes a level of, do I trust this person who's younger than me, and how do I know they're going to provide quality service? So when we started out, I marketed myself primarily to younger attorneys, people in my demographic or younger, maybe a little bit older, so that I had more in common with them, and they might be open to using me as well, because in our business, relationships and loyalty matter, and so older attorneys were probably not going to say yes to a young guy like me.
It's a great strategy. So maybe give us an example of maybe a client or an opportunity that came up because of challenges or issues that come up in the reporting space, and how you guys were able to come in and fill that need.
Sure. So when we started, it was 2007, and the next year the recession hit, and so we didn't have a lot of brick and mortar. In fact, we had our house, and so we were able to be comparatively more cost effective for a lot of law firms. And we provide a personal touch that a lot of the big corporate agencies weren't able to offer. And that's really how we started our agency, was that we're not a corporation of court reporting. We're family owned. There's not 5 layers of phone calls to get through. There's not a revolving sales rep that you have to deal with. I've never had a sales team. It's been myself and then my staff that do the customer service side of it. I like salespeople. I was a sales guy, but they move around a lot. And you want to build that brand loyalty and relationships. So we never had sales reps. And so it was that customer service relationship, being cost effective when the market was at the very bottom. Big corporate brick and mortars were having trouble being competitive, and we had nowhere to go but up.
Awesome. That's great. So knowing a little bit about your background and your other business that you run on the video side, I know that technology is something that you kind of embrace and understand. So maybe give us a sense of how technologies impact the court reporting space over time, and how there's still a need for what you guys do from a kind of compliance and legal perspective.
Sure, yeah. So when I started 11 years ago, it was, you're going to get replaced by electronic recording. It's going to be computers and voice and all of that. And while all of that has gotten better, as anybody who knows who has Siri on their iPhone or Alexa, they're not even very good at getting your voice commands 100% of the time. And court reporters have to be 98% accurate and in real time. And so there is no computer program or algorithm yet that's able to duplicate that level of accuracy. And you really need that accuracy in the courts, that's the criminal matters, and also in complex civil, where there's a lot of dialogue, a lot of accents. Nobody can do that better than a human voice. But we have used technology to help augment and help us with real-time court reporting. For instance, we have computers now that translate in real time closed captioning. That's one of those things that some people don't all know that the closed captioning you see on any TV or now on computers or websites is, or at least the live stuff, is all done by court reporters. So, there's somebody, a reporter, she could be sitting or he could be sitting at his house typing away as you're watching the Super Bowl, and that's a court reporter that does that. So, again, that's technology aided by, human aided by technology.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's unbelievable how that technology has come along and how you can get it in almost real time. So in your business, maybe give the viewers a sense of the best productivity app or technology that you utilize on a day-to-day basis to help run your business and develop more leads and on the marketing and the sales side.
Sure. So on the business development, which is my sweet spot, I use a couple different things. I use something called ProsperWorks, which is a CRM software, customer retention management software that integrates with Google. We're on Google platforms in my office. When I came out of my last sales job, we were on Microsoft Outlook, and it was just a clunky thing, and it wasn't very adaptive at that time. And so having the open software on Google is much better for me. I only have 7 W-2 employees, so we don't need a huge enterprise software either. So we use Google, and ProsperWorks is my customer retention management. It integrates. I never have to leave my Gmail screen, which is nice. And then the other thing I use is, I call it my NSA app, and I don't actually forget the name of it, but it's basically when I send an email out, I know when somebody opens it, it sends a little alert in the bottom. So I can kind of tell if they're avoiding me or when I might need to follow up with somebody or, something like that, which is really fun. And then we use, we haven't implemented it yet, but there's a project management software that we're going to probably start using. Again, with a 7-man shop, we don't need a lot of that kind of project management stuff because we can see each other and talk to each other that way.
That's great. Yeah, working with law firms and attorneys, I think that the email tracking is crucial, right? You want to see, is it they disregarding my emails, or they're just not opening them, and how many emails do you need to send before you're going to get a reply?
Right.
In my experience, it's 5 to 8 or 10 sometimes just to get a response.
It can be, as you well know, they're very busy people. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Isaiah, before we let you go, maybe share with us a little bit about what you do in your spare time when you're not working, to hobbies or fun activities you like to partake in.
Sure. Yeah. So outside of work, we're involved in the PTA program. My wife and I, at our kids' school, they're in a Mandarin immersion program, which is at a public school, which is kind of neat. There's only 2 of those in Orange County. And in addition to that, I'm really involved in my local church where we live. It's in Tustin, but we live in Anaheim Hills, and I've been involved in that church and the work there, doing Bible classes for the young people. And then I dabble in politics as well, not on the public side, but behind the scenes. I get involved. I'm involved at the Irvine Chamber Government Affairs Committee, past chairman of the board of the chamber. So I'm very involved in that world as well.
Awesome. Well, we're going to definitely link up all of Isaiah's contact information in the show notes below. If you have a question, please leave it in the comments. We'll make sure we get an answer. Thanks so much for coming on the show. I appreciate your time.
Thanks for having me, Tim.
Awesome. Thanks.